So again, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Thank you for joining us for the session of the Master in Management at ESCP Business School. My name is Jeanne Weckler, and I will be your host today. I'm in charge of marketing for the Master in Management across all of our campuses. We have 6 campuses altogether, and I'm actually located on our Paris campus. This session today will be in 2 parts. There's a presentation segment, and during which time you are very welcome to ask any questions that you would like to. Just pop those into the question box, and Ari and Hanru will be answering those questions during the presentation. But then once we're finished with the presentation, then we'll go live and answer all of your questions live. Okay? This session is, of course, being recorded, so you will be receiving the recording probably tomorrow, but in any case, within the next couple of days. Okay, people are still coming in, but let's get started with meeting our 2 student ambassadors who are with us today. Let's go in alphabetical order, and I'm sure this is rare for you, Hanru, but you are first in the alphabetical order. So would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, this is really a rare occasion for me to be the first one to speak. And thank you very much, Jane, for bringing up the conversation. And nice to meet you, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Hanru Yang. I'm the student ambassador of ESCP Master in Management program. Currently, I'm a Master 2 student, and I'm taking a gap semester to intern at L'Oreal. I am Chinese, and my education background was I was learning translating and interpreting English, Chinese, and French. So it was a big turn for me to turn into business school, and I find my experience in ESCP really enchanting and very pleasant to me. And I'm looking up to the questions. You can shoot it up in the chat, or you can find me on LinkedIn for further questions. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Hanru. Ari?
So hello, my name is Ari Zarcate. I come from France, but my education background started in England, where I did my A-level and GCSE. After I've joined university in Madrid, doing a business degree for 4 years, and then I joined ESCP on the Paris campus in the first semester, and I'm currently in the London campus doing investment banking in this semester. So and also I'm also part of a society at ESCP, the ESCP Finance Society, and I will be happy to share insights or answer your question.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the Finance Society, Ari?
Sure. So it's a society based in Paris and London, where basically we organize events with banks or with other institutions that play a role in the finance industry.
Okay.
So for instance, I organized an event in the first semester at Paris with an organization, and there was a possibility to meet lots of financial institutions. So it was a really great moment to meet people in this industry.
Great. And is the Finance Society open to other universities as well, or is it only for ESCP?
It's only for ESCP.
Okay.
It's only for ESCP, yes. And yeah, it's open in Paris and in London, but I think you can also join if you're in other campuses.
Okay, yeah, because the company visits are in Paris and London. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, very good. And that's the main benefit, is that you're meeting companies and learning more about the finance industry?
Yeah, you can also there's different roles. So I was part of the events, and partnerships, but there was other people doing other roles. So there was for example, people writing reports about M&A transactions or private equity. So it really depends on what role you had in the society, but I chose to be in the event and partnerships.
Okay, great. So you're getting management experience at the same time because you're
management. Yeah, it was a great opportunity.
Okay, cool. And Hanru, you mentioned that you are doing an internship right now at Loyal. What are you doing? I think before we started the session, started the session, you mentioned that it's a marketing internship. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. It's a marketing intern. In France, it's called DMI. So I am now working in the international marketing development team for Armani in L'Oreal. And this internship opportunity is also a huge thanks to ESCP, because the way I learned about L'Oreal is I went to the Vivatech held in last year in June, and there I visited the counters of L'Oreal. I talked to the people who are working in L'Oreal, and then I learned about the company. I love the culture, and I got some acquaintances and used the networking aside with my application information, and I got in with this job. So I really appreciate ESCP's opportunities on the networking social network, because prior to that, I also attended our monthly held and weekly held retail for 0 Point chair held by Bearing Point with a lot of known retailers. Apart from that, I'm also a Gen Z Observatory curator for Cartier, ESCP, and HEC Alliance. I find this opportunity really beneficial if you're like me, interested in marketing and luxury at the same time.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much. What a great introduction to the session. Let's get going on the nitty-gritty to talk a little bit more about ESCP and the Master Management Program. So if there are two things that you should know about ESCP, they are that we're the world's first business school because we were established in 1819. So we're the oldest school that's still in existence. And we have 6 campuses across Europe. We're located in Berlin, London, Madrid, Paris, Turin, and Warsaw. It all starts here is the slogan of the school, because hopefully when you join us, it's going to be the beginning of an amazing journey that you're going to be taking. We specialize in cross-cultural business education, which is largely due to the fact that we offer you the opportunity to live and learn in 6 different countries. We also offer a global perspective on management issues. So we're located in Europe, but we have learnings that affect the whole wide world economy and businesses around the world. And speaking of business, we have a very strong connection with the business world, largely because our campuses are located within the cities. So the companies have direct access to our campuses. They can come very easily, and which they do. They come for conferences, they come for company presentations, they come to teach in our classroom. And our faculty also does a lot of work with the companies in terms of research. And also in some cases, they also work in companies, for example, consulting companies. Speaking of faculty, we have 180 research active full faculty members, 800 affiliate and visiting professors. Those are the people that I just mentioned, the working professionals who are coming into the classroom and sharing their experience with our students. Another key figure that is interesting to learn is we have 73,000 alumni working on every continent. So those people are going to help you network, as Hanru mentioned. Networking is very important. They're going to help you network to find internships, to find jobs, to find suppliers. You know, once you're working and you are looking at your company is looking to expand internationally, they're going to help you find suppliers or whatever contacts in other countries. So very, very valuable group of people to know. And just to give you an idea of the size of ESCP Business School, we have 8,500 students who are currently enrolled, and they represent 122 different nationalities. Along with our over 200-year history, we like to say that we have a history of excellence. And we use 2 main indicators for that. Number 1 is accreditations. We are accredited by the AACSB, which is from the United States, and by EQUIS, which is the European accrediting body. Accreditations, as you may or may not know, they are important because they are an indicator of the quality of the education that you're going to be receiving. The other indicator that we use is rankings. This is pretty common, I think, in business schools. We use the Financial Times as our benchmark ranking because it is the most international. We also have, of course, rankings in all of our individual countries, but the Financial Times rankings is the most international one. And we do very well in them. I'm happy to share. We are number 2 in the world for our Master in Finance. We are number 5 for our Master in Management. And we're ranked number 3 amongst European business schools. So as concerns the Master in Management, at a glance, what is it? And who is it for? So the Master in Management are for students who have a previous degree in any discipline, as shown by Hanru and Ari. They both have 2 different types of previous studies. And you don't have to have business studies before you come into the MIM. You also do not have to have any previous work experience, although on average students have 1 to 1.5 years of work experience, often in the form of internships before they join, but no previous work experience is required. But what you do need is you need to be internationally minded, and you need to have an excellent academic record. In a nutshell, the Master in Management is a general management program with specializations. You have currently 64 different specializations to choose from and 140 electives to choose from. It is 2 or 3 years of study in up to 5 different countries. I'll go into more details on that later, of course. The program also includes internships in various fields that are going to help you build your career path. For example, Hanru is doing an internship right now in marketing. She previously did a specialization in marketing. So those 2 go together. Maybe you could mention something about that, Hanru, about your specializations and how they brought you to where you are today?
Yes, of course. So before this internship, I took a specialization, which is called Marketing Manager in Paris campus at ESCP. And in this course, we have very detailed knowledge about branding and communication, about consumer behavior, and also we studied the most advanced sustainable business model for marketing. So in these courses, we have very enriched content for teaching, for learning, and at the same time, our teachers has invited a lot of valuable guest speakers. So for example, we have the prior Asia Danone CEO, and we also had guest speakers such as Bacardi and also Rémi Cointreau, the most known beverage and food companies, which are having our alumni working as their marketing specialist now. And plus, we also received a very insightful seminar from P&G, because 2 of the strategic sales assistants and now their directors were ESCP alumni from 10 years ago. So not only they brought the knowledge of P&G to us, but also they kindly offered us internship opportunities. And they promised to us, if you're ever looking for some of the CV advices or interview advices, they're open to us. So it was really a great experience for me to have this knowledge in class. And with this knowledge, I think it helped me get what I have today, the internship.
Great, thank you so much. Great illustration of how those 2 things go together. Also within the Master in Management, you can obtain up to 5 degrees without even leaving the ESCP campuses. And the last feature that we like to mention is that you are building your cultural intelligence when you join us with the 1,300 other students from around the world. So let us find out a little bit about you. And if you could please tell us what region in the world you're from. Because ESCP Master in Management students are represented by over 50 different nationalities from all the regions of the world. So I'd just like to see where you're from and see if you kind of match up with our student population. Great, thank you so much. I see a lot of you have participated already. Okay, I'll give you just one more minute to let us know which region you're from, and then I'm going to close the poll and share the results with you. Okay, 3, 2, 1, closing. Okay, so the students who are joining us today are in lots of different places. Indeed, it was a good thing to say good morning because we have people joining us today from South America and North America, Europe, Asia, and Africa. The largest population of students is 65% from Europe, which is really similar to our class makeup. That's really interesting. 18% from Asia, 12% from Africa, 3% from South America, and 2% from North America. So let's see how that compares. In a MIM batch, in the current MIM batch, actually, we have 62% European students and 38% from the rest of the world. So again, very close to the population, to those of you who are joining us today. France makes up a good part of our population. It's 30% of our students are coming from France. And then we have 20% who are coming from Italy. Another good percentage are coming from Germany. So those are our main European representatives. But we, of course, have other European countries that are represented within the total. In Asia, that's also a very big part of our population. It is, now I don't remember the exact number, but it's something like 20% of our students are from Asia. North America, South America, Africa, all represented with between 6 and 4%, and then the Middle East with 2%. So in a nutshell, you're going to be living and learning with students from all over the world, and it's a very enriching experience. So let's jump all the way to the end. We talked about, at a glance what the program is about, but what happens when you're done and when you graduate? Well, the good news is that you have a 99% chance of finding a job within 3 months of graduation, because that's what our most recent graduating class did. 65% of our students were actually employed before graduation, with 33% working outside of their home country. Now, that last number is actually a little bit low. Normally, it's more in the area of 45% of working outside of their home country. It's still a little bit of the pandemic syndrome that has a play with that particular figure. So more people were going back to their home country in order to work because of difficulties with travel, for example. As far as your income, the average annual starting salary of students who graduated last year was 54,555 euros. Because it's a general management program and we're allowing you to get an overview of all the different skills and knowledge that you need in order to work effectively in a company, but also allowing you to specialize. We have students working in lots of different types of jobs. The 6 most common ones are listed here, with 25% in consulting, 15% in finance. So that's mostly financial services, but also some corporate finance. 11% in business development, 8% in marketing, 6% in project management, and 5% in the C-suite. C-suite, if you're not familiar with the term, is CEO, CFO, CMO, for example. So that's Chief Executive Officer, Chief Financial Officer, Chief Marketing Officer. And those people are obviously, they're most often working for startups. Either they've created their own company or they've joined a startup in one of the top management positions. As far as industry sectors, again, many different industry sectors are represented within our student body or within our graduate community. But there are really three that stand out quite a bit from the rest, and those are consulting, finance, and technology. Technology is, for example, it's not people who are actually technical, but they're working in the technology industry. And I'll show you a couple of examples of that here when I share with you our top employers. So these are the people who are offering internships and hiring our students upon graduation the most often. And here you see what we mean by technology. The technology sector is Google, is Apple, is somewhere on here is Amazon. There we go, Amazon. Rocket Internet as well, which you may not have heard of, but it is a startup, an ESCP startup that has gotten to such a size that they have become one of our major employers. Also here represented, they're many of the main international brands that you could dream of working for if you'd like to work for a big company. And those include luxury, like Hanru mentioned, working in the luxury industry, like Chanel is one. I know we have, L'Oreal has many different luxury brands, as well as banks and consulting firms. So these are some of the companies that you could work for, perhaps, if you join ESCP. So in terms of what you learn and where you learn it, you have 2 or 3 years of study. So the minimum is 2 years. That's the master year 1 and a master year 2. If you would like, you can also do an optional pre-master year. There are 2 different reasons that people take the pre-master year, one of which is because they really have no previous business studies and they're concerned about joining a master's program without having any previous business studies. So they wanted to take a full year of business courses before they join the master. And the other reason is because it's the only way that you can get the degree from Italy. I mentioned previously that you can get 5 different degrees without leaving our campuses. One of them is from Italy, and the only way to get it is if you take the pre-master year, because that happens in Turin. Once you join the master year, then in terms of what you study, mentioned previously that you're going to be covering core courses. So all of the main disciplines that you need to have in order to be effective in a company. And then you have the opportunity to take specializations. Again, 64 specializations on offer. Each specialization lasts 1 semester. And we require you to take at least 2 different specializations, but you can take up to 3, as you can see here. You're also going to be offered language courses in your first year, because that's also a very important skill to have. Of course, everybody who comes in speaks fluent English, but having a 3rd language is also very important. So we offer language classes all across during your first year of studies. Additionally, we have thematic seminars every semester. The first one in the master cycle is the Digital Transformation Seminar. Do either of you, Ari or Hanru, or do you have any distinct recollections of your Digital Transformation Seminar and what you learned? And maybe it was closer for you, Ari, because it was only last semester. Hanru, it was a while ago now.
Yeah, we did a project on the like blockchain technology and how to reduce emission, but that's about it. That was really interesting to do. Yeah.
So it was a combination of digital transformation and sustainability, in fact.
Actually, it was mainly digital transformation, but our group chose to make it more sustainable. Yeah.
Okay. So you could choose the project that you wanted to work on.
Yes, you can choose it.
Great. Okay. Designing your learning expedition in your 2nd semester. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Then you have a business strategy simulation, or a business game, it's often called. And then finally, a seminar called Soft Skills for Leaders, which is all about springboarding you into the working world and helping you find a job. Basically, that's what it's about. As you can also see, you can study and you have many different choices of places where you study. You can take the whole program in English if you'd like. You can also choose to study in different languages. We offer courses in Spanish in Madrid, in French in Paris, and in German and in Berlin. So you can also get that extra language practice and experience in your classes, as well as the fact that you're living in those countries. And throughout the program, you're going to be getting lots of career building tools, coaching, workshops, careers fairs, corporate presentations. I'll go into that a little bit more in just a couple of minutes. In terms of the specializations, as I mentioned, we have 64 different specializations currently on offer. Rather than going into the detail of all the different 64, this is kind of an overview of what we offer. So it's a combination of job function specific topics such as business development, consulting, finance, but also some industry specific sectors. We have a specialization on real estate, on the food and beverage industry, for example, and lots of specializations on sustainability, because as we are all aware, that's a more and more pressing issue in the world. And of course, companies have a lot of impact on climate change, on how people are treated in the workplace, and also the people who are producing. So sustainability is very highly emphasized at ESCP. If you would like to have more details on the specializations, then you should just take a look at our website under the curriculum tab, where you can see the full list, but you can also see the syllabi. That'll give you some more information. The Designing Europe Learning Expedition is a highlight of the Master Management program, because it's a 2-day seminar at the European Parliament in Brussels, where all of the students from all campuses are coming together to learn about how the European Union works. And you're taking part in a negotiation role play as if you were in the shoes of a parliamentarian. Actually, Hanru, you mentioned before we started this session, before I turned the cameras on, that you were there in Brussels. Maybe you could tell us about your experience there?
Yes, of course. So I was in Brussels last year, participating in this great expedition in person. It was such a great experience because, firstly, academic-wise, we were playing in the roles, and last year our topic was about sustainability. So our committee works on these issues, and we are playing the roles just like Model United Nations. We're playing in different counterparts, stakeholders to argue about different solutions and renovating, innovating, and really feel in the shoes of these parliamentarians, because we're really wearing student ties, walking around in the European Parliament buildings and doing a little bit of excursion in the buildings to learn about the vibes and so. Plus, since it's a 2-day seminar, ESCP has offered us transportation and accommodation in the heart of Brussels. So at daytime, we were participating in the seminars, and at nighttime, we were hanging out with friends at bars, at restaurants. And a little surprise, not to spoil it for you, is that for ESCP, we have a society that organizes annual surprise party for different big sessions. So for example, last year at Brussels, they booked up a secret pub, and they released it on Facebook to pre-sell the tickets, and then everybody gathered in that pub. Like around 70% of the students of that whole semester, of that whole academic year, were gathered in the same pub, and you can hang out with your friend that you know before from different campuses, or you get to know new friends. That's really a great experience.
Great, thank you so much. Indeed, that's the feedback that I hear from students. They really love the experience. Just being in the hemicycle, like you see in the photo here, it's special, isn't it? It's really thrilling. It's not very often in your life that you're going to be able to do something like that. One of the features of the Master in Management at ESC Business School is that we offer an apprenticeship track, which is the ideal way to combine study and professional experience. We have 150 student apprentices each year, approximately. You do have to apply, and it's so it's not everybody can get in. It's there is a selection process. When you're an apprentice, you are working and studying at the same time. You're earning on average 1,500 euros per month. But I just talked to somebody recently who was actually making 3,000 euros a month as an apprentice, which is quite a nice salary for an apprentice. We have 1- and 2-year options for the apprenticeship track. So if you have previous business studies, you can actually do the apprenticeship track the full 2 years of the Master in Management program. If you do not have previous business studies, then you can do the 1-year option. So that means you would be only doing it during your 2nd year. But another big advantage of the apprenticeship track, other than the fact that it's an amazing learning experience, is that your tuition fees are reimbursed by the employer. They're actually paid by the employer to ESCP. So you do not have any financial burden for your studies while you're an apprentice. You can apply for the apprenticeship program once you've been admitted to the Master in Management. The selection of those who make it are based on your grades. So either in your bachelor studies or in your 1st year at the Master in Management, and your ability to get an apprenticeship employment contract. The one thing that you need to know, though, is that you need to speak French fluently in order to take part in the apprenticeship track, because it's a program that is sponsored by the French government. And so it's French companies that are hiring these students. And in 90% of the cases, they need students who are fluent in French. So if you would like to play again with another survey, just to tell me a little bit about what you think about dual degrees. Would you like to earn a dual degree? A dual degree is interchangeable with double degree. They're not exactly the same thing. Most people say double degrees, but in our case, they're mostly dual degrees. In any case, would you like to, are you interested in taking a dual degree? 3 answers possible. And I see that already 75% of you have participated, have answered. So keep going. Thank you very much for playing. Okay. I'll just give you a couple more seconds to answer the question of, would you like to earn a dual degree? 3, 2, sorry, there's a siren coming in the background. I'm not sure how much my mic is picking it up, but it's going to get loud in just a second. Okay, just went by. Okay, 1, I'm going to close the poll. So most of you said that you would like to take a dual degree as long as the workload is manageable. Some of you say, I'm not sure what's involved in a dual degree. Fair enough, that's what we're here for. And then 1 person said that you're happy with 1 degree. Also fair enough. So what is a dual degree at ESCP Business School? You can actually earn a dual degree, but actually, as I previously said, up to 5 different degrees without even leaving the ESCP campuses. So actually, Ari is doing this. Ari, can you tell us what is involved in doing your additional degree?
Sure. So I'm doing an additional degree at the European Master of Science of City University of London. So basically, you need to spend at least, I think, a semester in the London campus. And you will have, in addition of the French Master Grande École, a UK degree. So it's I think it's an edge when you want to work in UK or even outside to have 2 degrees from 2 different countries.
Absolutely, that's absolutely the most important thing. I think the most important feature about having more than 1 degree is that it is a huge advantage. If you want to work in another country, in that country, then it's a huge advantage to have a degree that is stamped from the Ministry of Education of that country.
Yeah.
Great. Then thank you for mentioning, because I didn't, that everyone who takes the Master in Management and graduates gets the French Master Grande École. So that's a given. It doesn't matter if you study in Paris or not, but to get one of the other degrees, basically you just need to study in most cases just a semester on the campus. We have another type of dual degree, and that is with partner companies. Not companies, partner institutions, partner business schools. And we have two different types of dual degrees on offer in 18 countries around the world, and that is business degrees. So those are, masters in international business, they're masters in finance, they're MSc in big data, for example, MBAs as well. And those are with schools such as MIT, Shanghai Jiao Tong in China, Tecnológico de Monterrey in Mexico, basically all over the world. We have partners who are offering business degrees. And we also offer the opportunity, which is actually kind of out of the ordinary, to take a degree in another discipline. For example, if you have if you have the right prerequisites, you can take a second degree in engineering with these partners. There are 4 very well-known engineering schools in France and then 1 in Italy. We also have a double degree in this case in fashion and luxury management, in art management, in hospitality management, and journalism, and with the military, if you want to learn how to be a leader. In that case, if you take this type of dual degree, you're actually taking your full second year at the partner school. So you'll do your first year at ESCP and the second year at a partner school. Career building is obviously a very important part of your journey at ESCP. And what we do is we give you lots of opportunities to get professional experience, and to help you get that professional experience, we offer lots of different services. So in order to graduate, you need a minimum of 9 months of internships, which is why most students take at least 1 gap semester. A lot of people take 2 gap semesters or even more. So Hanru is currently on a gap semester working for Loyal. Ari mentioned before we started that he's going to take a gap semester next semester.
Two gap semesters, yeah.
Sorry, you're going to take a full year?
Yeah.
And what are you going to do?
So I'm going to do 2 6-month internships during next year, starting from July, to get more professional experience.
And what kind of internships are you looking for?
So I'm looking for investment banking internships or auditing internship.
Okay. Did we mention that you're doing the specialization in investment banking? I don't remember. Did you mention that?
Yes, I mentioned quickly in my introduction, but yeah, I'm doing the specialization.
And will that help you, do you think, get an internship?
Yes, for sure. The specialization is very practical. So we use for instance Bloomberg a lot, which is very useful when you will actually do the internship. So that's the very good thing about the specialization, is that it's very practical. Okay.
And just to continue, did you have any previous business experience before you joined, Ari?
I did have a 6-month internship, but not in investment banking or finance.
Okay, thank you. The reason I ask is, so you need to have a minimum of 9 months, as I said, of internships in order to graduate, or professional experience. We can give you credit for up to 4 months of previous job experience. So then that means during the Master in Management, you only have to have 5 months of additional internships. But as mentioned, usually students take this opportunity to take at least 1 to 2 different gap semesters in order to really increase their professional experience before they jump into the job market. And it's just going to help them get a better position once they graduate. We do have career services teams. They are located on all of our campuses. They have a lot of things that they offer. And Hanru, I think that you have experience working with the career services team. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, of course. For ESCP Career Services team, we can always go to the 24-hour opening website to make reservations, appointments with career consultants. So for example, when I was in Paris campus, I went on in-person consultations like almost weekly to review my CV, to ask for cover letter advices, and to mock up interviews. And at the same time, when I was like busy or packed in my like study schedule, I will make appointments with virtual consultants. So for example, if I'm looking for a more targeted industries, I can go for the consultants, these professors' profiles. I can find someone who has the same experience as I am looking for, and I can make up a virtual appointment to consult about the details that I want to know. It's a great opportunity to learn things, and plus it's also a way to network, because once when I was consulting a consultant professor at ESCP in Paris, she has introduced me an alumnus who is working in my like company that I was interested in at the time. And then she put us via emails into contact, and I get to know this alumnus in person. So that's my experience with career services, which I find really useful and helpful for me.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, definitely, most students say that they work with them at the very least to work on their CV, to work on their cover letter, their LinkedIn profile. All of those are so important when they are looking for positions, but there are also a lot of students consult them for coaching in terms of, you know, helping them to find their way. Not all students come in, most students come in not knowing necessarily what they would like to do when they graduate. And we have career coaches who are there to help them figure that out. So very important team to be working with while you're here. Okay, so now it's time for some hard data. Fees and scholarships. You do have to pay for your education at ESCP Business School, and currently the tuition fees per year are $28,800 for EU citizens and $24,600 for non-EU citizens. The good news is we have scholarships. We have two different kinds that we offer from ESCP, and that is for non-EU citizens. Those are based on merit, so they're actually based on your application. And those can represent from 50 to 100% of your first year's tuition fees. For EU citizens, we have need-based scholarships, so people who can show financial need. Those can range anywhere from 10 to 80% of the first year tuition fees. Additionally, if you are if you have a cruise scholarship, you may be eligible for complete exemption of tuition fees. And find out more about that on our website. Cruise scholarships are mostly available to students in France. Other scholarship sources, which I always like to mention to students because there are a lot of scholarship monies out there every year that don't get spent. You should look for scholarships first in your home country. In a lot of cases, your government will develop scholarships to help students study outside of their home country and then come back and work, for example, but not even necessarily. But so look in your home country first for scholarships. And then the next thing would be to look for scholarships within the countries where you're going to study. So I've listed several sources here of places where you could look: campusfrance.org, DAD.de, so Campus France, obviously for France, DAD for Germany, scholarshippositions.com, that's for all over Europe, Government UK, obviously for the United Kingdom, European Funding Guide.eu, also across all our campuses or all over the EU. Student loans are also a big financer of studies, and that there are a couple of different tips that I can give you on those. You should apply for a student loan in your home country, because if you don't wait until you get here, because once you get here, you will require a guarantor, so somebody who can pay for your loan if you don't pay, and that guarantor has to be living in the country where you're getting the loan from. If you don't have a guarantor, but you still would like, you can't get a student loan in your home country, we have found a source called Fins. The website is hellofins.com that will that offers student loans for which no guarantor is required. So that's always an option. Of course, the percentage and the rate, the cost of these student loans is going to be higher than ones than you can get from your home country or from a bank, basically. But it still is an option if you need to get a student loan. Admissions. I'm sure that Hanru and Ari have been answering a lot of questions about admissions in the Q&A, but I'll just go over it for everyone now. Admissions at ESCP are based on the year to which you're applying of the Master of Management, as well as where you did your previous studies. So if you are applying to the pre-master year and you have previous studies outside of France, then you would take the admissions path called the pre-master admissions test, which is actually a misnomer because it's not a test, but that's what the admissions path is called, where the testing and the interviews take place on the Turin campus. The application is online, as is the case for all of our applications. And for that, you have to submit your English test, for which we do have minimum scores. They're shown also on the slide. Your university transcripts, university diploma or certificate of enrollment, if you're still in doing your bachelor, if you're just finishing up your bachelor's, a high school or secondary school diploma, and a CV. If you're selected, so if you meet the requirements that we're looking for in the online application, we will invite you to sit a verbal and mathematical aptitude test, the SHL, which is very, very similar to a GMAT, as well as a motivational interview. The applications for this path are open until May of this year for the intake of September of this year. The next admissions deadline is 15 March. So if you'd like to apply through this path, the next deadline is just in a month. But there are more deadlines, obviously, since they're still open through May. As far as the master program is concerned, if you actually have two different choices of admissions path. One is direct admissions, where you're applying directly and exclusively to ESCP. And one is called Join a School in France. Again, a bit of a misnomer because we're not only in France. We do have a campus in France, and the school was founded in France, but we're in 6 different countries. In any case, the admissions path is called Join a School in France, where you're applying to a consortium of 5 different business schools. Both of them, they're exactly the same. I'll just point out, okay, I'll describe the direct admissions, and then I'll tell you what's different with Join a School in France. So for the direct admissions path, we are asking for a GMAT, a GRE, a CAT, or a TAJMAJ, or you can take the SHL test, which is the test offered by ESCP. We are asking for the TOEFL, the TOEIC, the IELTS, or the Cambridge. Again, we do have minimum scores for the English test. We want your university transcripts, your diploma or your certificate of enrollment if you're completing your bachelor's degree, a personal statement, and a CV. If you meet all the requirements of those documents, of that submission, then we will invite you to sit a motivational interview on campus or online, and most of them are online today. The difference with the Join a School in France application is that you do not have the option of taking the SHL test, and you do need to provide 2 academic references. That is not a requirement for the direct admissions path, although we're happy to receive references if you have them. Again, same thing, if you meet the requirements of the online application, then we will ask you to attend a motivational interview. The next application deadline for direct admissions is 22 February if you live in one of the countries that is managed by the Berlin campus, and 15 March for all countries all over the world. Okay, so hopefully by the end of this presentation and speaking also with Hanru and Ari, you will have retained 3 key ideas of the benefits of the Master in Management program. So we're teaching you to think critically about business management and ethical issues with a socially responsible approach. We're building and enhancing your career plans through specialized course options and in-company work experience. And we're strengthening your ability to live and work in a highly multicultural and international environment, which is very, very much appreciated by employers. They're looking for students, for young professionals who are adaptable, who can react quickly, who can learn quickly. And that's what you will be showing them when you graduate from the Master Management at ESCP Business School. So thank you very much for your attention thus far. At this point, I am going to take the questions live that Ari and Hanru have not answered yet. I forgot to mention, but I'm sure you guys did this. If there's anything that you didn't know the answer to, then I'm more than happy to answer them. But it looks like you guys are pretty much caught up. Oh, are 2 questions there's a question that's been asked twice, and I didn't give Ari and Hanru this information before the session, so they couldn't know. Anyway, Leah and Arthur asked, what is the average Taj-Maj score? Ari is typing an answer, but I'll just go ahead and take it as well. We do not have a minimum score for the Taj-Maj, but I can tell you that the average Taj-Maj, and I have to look at my cheat sheet, of students who are admitted is 355. Again, that is just an indicator. That doesn't mean you have to get 355. It's the average of it's the average grade of students who were admitted. Okay, Rohit, Hanru is answering that. So I'll jump to Busayo. My goodness, try again, slow down. Is the apprenticeship route only available in the 2nd year if one does not have previous business studies experience? Exactly right. Thomas is asking, or Thomas, is there a January intake as well, or is the intake only in September? It's only in September. Salwa is asking, what is the percentage of shortlisted people per session approximately? It's approximately 65% are shortlisted. And at the end of the day, approximately, it depends on the admissions path, but approximately 30% are finally admitted. Juan is asking, can we pass the TOEFL and Taj-Maj on the 14th of March, for example, or do we need to submit the results already before the 15th? You need to have all the documents of your application uploaded into the system in order to submit your application. So you need your TOEFL and your Taj-Maj by the 15th of March if you want to apply in the next session. Yes, Cora, the recording will be sent to you. Lorenzo is asking, does the recommendation letter have to come from a university professor? Lorenzo, for the direct admissions, we don't require any recommendation letter. For the join a school in France, we do, and they do have to come from a professor. Yes, it would be a university professor. If you would like to submit a letter of recommendation for direct admissions, it can come from a university professor. It can come from an employer. Either are viable recommendation letters. Okay. I already answered that sort of. Lorenzo is asking again. Well, it's the same question. I'm not going to answer. Basically, you have to have all your documents available in order to apply. Let's see. Now I just got lost in my scrolling. Sorry. Federico is asking, how can I personalize my studies? And how can I personalize my program? Hanru, would you like to answer that question? The different ways you can personalize your MIM program?
Yes, of course. So let us start with the first semester. And first semester, you have the flexibility to choose from our 6 campuses, but it might depend if you're having like prior business background. Because for my case, I do not have any prior business background before entering ESCP. So I can choose from either Turin campus or Paris campus to begin my studies. And then for the second semester.
Excuse me, I'm going to interrupt you. This happens,
yes, of course.
And I apologize. It's changed since you started, and now you can actually do it it's all online. So before you start the program, it's online, and then you can choose any campus now for your first semester if you don't have any business studies. So apologize for interrupting.
Okay.
Yeah, that changed.
Yeah, thank you for the answer. So now it's better. So you can really just freely choose wherever you want to stay for whichever semester. So for example, as in my case, I'm taking 3 semesters now and I'm planning for a exchange semester. So this is the first scenario. You can always take 1 exchange semester if you want to apply. And then second scenario, if you're taking a dual degree. So one of my friends, she has studied 1 year at Turin, 1 year in Paris, and then she gets admitted to the HEC Montreal in Canada. So now she's studying in Canada for the dual degree. And the third option could be kind of like Ari's case. So if you're taking your degree inside ESCP Spring, then you can spend the according requirements in different campuses at ESCP and getting more than 1 French degree and also with other countries' degree, for example, UK degree or Spanish degree. And these are the 3 scenarios for non-apprentice track. And the 4th scenario is if you're an apprentice, after you get into the school, you either work for 2 years and study at the same time, or you kind of like my friend who studied 1 full year in Paris, and now she's working in a bank and having 3 days at ESCP studying and 2 days working in that bank for a whole year. And the bank will sponsor her with the tuition fee as well as her salary at the same time. So these are the 4 most obvious tracks that we are having here at ESCP. But for the campuses, thanks to the input of Jeanne, you can choose wherever you want in the 6 campuses regarding the specializations. Because as in our experiences, me and my friends, we're usually choosing specializations over campuses. So whichever specialization interests us the most, we will go to that campus. So for example, in London, this year, they open up a specialization called Luxury, Present, Now, and Future. So it's a specialization closely working with Cartier. And a lot of my friends, they're now in this specialization, and they tell me it's a great chance to learn in this track with a prestigious company and with very innovative class projects and discovery subjects.
Great, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm looking for the answer to another student question right now. Did you mention the exchange programs?
I think I didn't elaborate it very clearly, but yes, I mentioned it shortly that we can do a 1 semester exchange.
Okay, which is what you're considering right now, right?
Yes, I'm applying for it right now.
Okay, great. Okay, I just found the answer to somebody's question that is lower. Sorry, now I got lost in the questions again. Or am I? Okay, Clara is asking a very good question because people do get confused with this, and that is about the specializations. Is it possible to follow courses that are included in another ESCP specialized master? For example, MSc Pharmaceuticals and Biotechnologies Management. The specializations in the Master in Management are not the same things as the specializations in the specialized masters. They're 2 completely different programs. And in some cases, we have taken courses from a specialized master and included it in the Master in Management, but you do not have the option of just taking a specialization from a specialized master unless it's part of the Master in Management program. And in this particular case, The MSc in pharmaceuticals is not a specialization offered within the Master in Management. Marie is asking, no, you need to have the English test when you, the results of your English test when you apply, Marie. So you won't be able to finish your application until you have taken the English test. And the ones that we accept, I mentioned previously, they're the IELTS, the TOEFL, the TOEIC, and the Cambridge.
Also, they need to be in English. Like they asked me about whether it's fine if they can be exempted from the tests if they're like studying in Italy or like Spain.
Yeah.
But I think you need to be in an English-speaking country to be exempted, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, sorry to mention that. Thank you very much for adding that, Ari. You can be exempt from the English test if you've studied in an English-speaking country. But if you've studied in Italy, for example, I know Bocconi has a very good master program that's delivered in English, same thing in the Netherlands and IE as well. Those are not valid because they're not in English-speaking countries. Hugo is asking if it's recommended to do the interview in person rather than online. Hugo, we're not always going to give you the choice. In most cases now, the interviews are online. But if you have the opportunity, I would recommend doing the interview in person. If nothing, if for no other reason, then that gives you an opportunity to visit the campus. And that's a really nice thing to do. You get the feel for the school and the people who are there. I mean, you can visit the campuses without having an interview, but at least if you have an interview and you have to come to campus, then that'll be done. Parik is asking a very specific question for which I had to look up the answer. If for the dual degree at Rotterdam University, which master's program would I be studying? Because it's true that, yeah, there's a program that is associated with all of our partner schools. And the answer to the question, exactly, I can answer it because there are like 10 different programs that you can choose from at Rotterdam. So what I would recommend, Parik, if you want to know more about that, because I don't want to take everybody's time, is to either ask one of our student ambassadors. So you would write to MIM ambassadors at ESCP. Actually, why don't you write to them, because they can answer you easily. MIM ambassadors at escp.eu, and they can just look that up in our student guide, which you don't get until you arrive on campus. So if you want to know exactly which programs, please write to them. Federico wants to know if there's another date for the application. Yes, please go to our website. Actually, I can do that now because let me just show you how to do that. I'm still sharing so you can see everything. So this is our website, the Master in Management. So it's escp.eu/MIM. You go to the admissions tab. It's a bit complicated just because we split up our admissions across our 6 different campuses. If you go to the admissions tab and then you select direct admissions, then you go down and you see here, it says admission calendar. You click on that, which is going to send you here, where it says to see the application deadlines and admission sessions relating to you, please indicate your country of residence. So you click here and you choose your country, and I'm assuming by your name that you are from Italy, so we'll just take that one. And you have several sessions still available to you. So the next one is 15 March. And then you have 2 more, which is 12 April and 10 May. Okay, but that's how you can find out the different deadlines for the admissions, the upcoming admission sessions. Let's see, how can I stop sharing my screen? I can do it right here. Okay, so now you see us, the 3 of us in larger size, which I'm sure you've all been waiting for. Salva wants to know how many recommendation letters we can submit. 2. Let's say 2 maximum. William wants to know, is the TOEFL taken online at home at the end of 2021 valid? Yes, they're valid for 2 years. So apply by the end of 2023. What is the average score for the GRE? Okay, the GRE, I moved my cheat sheet, is 325, 325. Flavie is asking, is the join a school in France, lots of questions on recommendation letters today. The join a school in France recommendation letter is from university professors. That's specifically what we're asking for. Okay, Carla, I think we probably answered this question. You wanted to know your BBA is in English, but it's in France. And do you need to retake the TOEFL? Yes, you do, because it needs to be, in order to be exempt, it has to be in an English-speaking country. And even though you have a BBA that was a 4-year BBA, you still need to take the 2 years of the Master of Management. We take a bachelor degree is a bachelor degree for us. It doesn't matter if it was a 3-year or a 4-year degree. So Parik wants to know, if I am at Madrid for 1 semester and need to go to some other location for my internship, will I be getting assistance for the same? Maybe Hanru, you'd be best placed to answer this since you are non-European. Did you hear the question or shall I repeat it?
Yeah, would you please repeat it again?
Yes.
I was focusing on the questions.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much for doing that. Parik, who I'm guessing is from India, is asking, if I am at Madrid for 1 semester and need to go to some other location for my internship, will I be getting assistance for that?
I think normally if you're within the regime of our 6 campuses, you can always contact student affairs to ask about how they can help you proceed. But most importantly, if it's working certificate or permit, you need to contact your hiring company to offer you the relevant paperwork to help you proceed. But if you're for example, if you're non-European like me, staying in Paris and want to work in Paris, but you're transferring your visa into titre de séjour. So it's like a temporary identity card. You can stay in European for legal working. So for example, me, I was encountering the difficulties that the police office of Paris was too busy and never answering my requests. But the student affairs professors, she has kindly helped me proceed with all the procedures, because for ESCP, we have the connection to help our students to proceed with it. So within 2 weeks, I managed to receive the prolonged certificate of my visa transferring into the titre de séjour, and then I can start working in January smoothly thanks to it. But if it's you're studying in Madrid but you want to work for in another country, it might be different situations, but there's always help from student affairs office.
Yes. Yeah, we may not be experts on everything, but at least we know where to send you. I was going to say, know where to send you to get the information you're looking for. But if you're talking about working in our countries, then we can definitely help you for sure. Thank you so much, Hanru. Okay, this is a question for both of you. William wants to know, what would be your best advice for applicants to succeed? Ari, do you want to start?
Well, I think it's really important to, at least from my point of view, it's to know why really you want to go to ESCP. So for instance, where you want to, what professional project you want that ESCP helps you to get. So which specialization, which country also, for example, if you want to work in a specific country, it's what ESCP can offer. I think that's the motivation behind it. It's important, and also, of course, to have the best scores, to have lots of extracurricular activities which can help for the application, and that's for me. That's about it, I think.
Henry, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I totally agree with Ari. I think the first part of getting into ESCP is we, as in prior status, we need to do the research about the school very carefully. And then we can align our strength, our wishes, our projections in the future with what ESCP could offer us. And the second step, I think, is to be more confident about your profile. Because I think Ari and we have received a lot of questions in the chat asking about what if my academic score or what if my standardized tests are not that agreeable or meeting an average score, will I still have the chance? I would say definitely yes, because our evaluation is a full dimensional evaluation that looks on like different aspects. For example, your extracurricular activities, your prior work experience, your personal projects. So for example, you have like innovation patterns to be an extreme. And like all of these things, all of this, your features, or like you have language competencies in the 6 campuses that we are having. This could all be your like plus points when you're applying for ESCP, and you can combine it with your story and to convince the admissioner about like your goal, your determination to participate in this program, and how can you like elaborate and how can you just show that you're compatible with us.
Also, the fact that ESCP is a 2-year program, so you can really even change your mind about what you will do in the, for example, you can start to do a specialization in the first year of the master, do 2 internships, maybe change your mind and do another specialization in the second year of the master. So so it's also an important fact to think when you apply also to the school, I think.
Yes, I totally agree with Ari. It brought me back to a story that I heard when I was attending the ESCP 150 anniversary alumni party last year in Paris campus. And that year and that day, one of the 5 selected like alumnus of the year, he is now a startup, a famous startup for sustainability transformation in Paris. He just shared his experience because for the first year he was studying finance and he was aiming to do investment banking right after graduation. But then he spent a year in Brazil. He said that at this place he discovered the glamour of nature and the glamour and the of preserving sustainability issues around that. So he decided to change his career like orientation to sustainability transformation, and he like added a joke with like the closure of the speech. He adds, also I met the love of my life there. So this is ESCP brought me into this adventure of life discovery.
Very nice. Okay, great. Anyway, that's all, lots of great advice on how to submit an application that's going to succeed. Thank you both. Let's go on because I can see people are getting really excited about answering questions, which is great. Let's see if we can get through them all. Jan is asking, no, I already answered that question. Sorry, Jan, you have the answer to that question. Bad is saying, I have a year of work experience in mechanical engineering. Is it necessary to have a reference letter from my employer, or can I get reference from my 2 academic professors? It depends, again, on the admissions path. The direct admissions, you don't need any recommendation letter. If you're going through join a school in France, then we want academic. Is your work experience a plus in your application? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to see that you've worked already. We're going to want to find out, what you've learned there, what were the most interesting things for you, and what more ESCP can bring to you after this work experience. Twinkle is asking, can you tell about student exchange? I think we already covered that, Twinkle. Hanru talked about it. If you want to know more, if you wouldn't mind asking the question again, and then and if you have anything, specific that you want to know, we'll try and add that in. Parik is asking, as we can see, there are various specializations. If I talk about marketing and consulting specializations, they both have different subjects. So in total, how many electives can I select in one semester? And how many total subjects would be there per semester? So a specialization is made up of several different courses. The number is actually depends on the specialization. They last 1 semester. And you have to take a minimum of 2 specializations. You can take up to 3. For electives, that is a bit different. You have the possibility, depending on the specialization, to take an additional elective. In a semester, you take a specialization. Or there is actually what we call a free track, which I don't mention in the official literature, but there's what we call a free track where you can take all electives. And so that's electives from any different, from all the different subject matters we offer. I hope that answers your question. Natalie is asking, the CAE time limit is, I believe it's 2 years as well. CAE is 2 years. Anshal is asking, oh no, Ari's answering that, never mind. Andres is asking about the curriculum of the Censure dual degree. Andres, I would like to ask you to look at our website because we have a specification sheet on that that gives you the description of the Censure dual degree. Okay, go to our curriculum tab and just click around there, you'll find it. Okay. Ridul, I can't pronounce your name, excuse me. Can we submit our immediate GRE score while submitting the application and submit the official transcript score after we get it? Yes, the immediate score that you receive is acceptable. You can submit that with the application. So Maya wants to know what we mean by the business-related bachelor for the apprenticeship track requirement. It's a BBA, so Bachelor in Business Administration, a BSc like we offer, Bachelor of Science in Management. It is a Bachelor in Economics, often is eligible. Bachelor in Finance, although I don't think there are many. Bachelor in Accounting would probably be. But basically, yeah, those type of degrees is what we're talking about in order to join the apprenticeship track in your first year of your Master of Studies. Sarah is asking, is it better to have a letter of recommendation from the school director or from a teacher? If the school director is also faculty, I would get the school director. But it has to be someone who knows you well. So that's up to you. It's the most important thing is that somebody who knows you well and can say specific things about you. Juan is also asking about recommendation letters, and I'll just cut to the chase and say, I would say recommendation letters from 2 different professors. Federico, yes, there is a practice SHL test site. Do I have it handy here? If I have it handy, I'll drop it into the chat. If not, I'll ask you to write to, hold on, I'm looking for it. Maybe it's here. There it is. Okay, I can drop this into the chat for you. This is the test site, the practice test site. Oh, we're almost at the end. Violette is asking if we have both IELTS and TOEIC score above the requirements, which one would you recommend for submission? It doesn't matter. We don't have a preference. Well, it does matter because you actually do get a grade based on your English language score. So go for the better one. And the better one is basically, you know, is the percentage where you have the higher percentage of correct answers or whatever, if you know what I mean. But yeah, we don't have a preference between the IELTS and the TOEIC. Okay. I think that is all the questions. Are you guys, Hanru still answering one in writing? Ari, are you done?
Just one left, and that's fine, I think.
Okay, yeah, English is an English-speaking country, or India is an English-speaking country for us. That's the one you're answering?
Yep.
Yeah.
Free track. Okay, we don't need this one.
Okay, well, thank you all very much for all of your interesting questions. I see someone just... Yes, Federico, check the SHL test on the link that I just sent you. Parik wants to know more about the free track. No, there's no selection. It's basically, I believe it's only the last semester. I'm not sure about that. It's in M2. So your second year of your master degree, and it's, I believe it's only the second semester, but I'm not certain. And it's basically, it's on the Paris campus. So the free track is just, you make up, you choose the electives that you would like to take.
Sorry to jump in the answer, Jeanne, because I have classmates who took free track. So the rule now is you can take it in your master 2 year, whether it's the first semester or second semester.
Right. Okay.
The requirement on it is you can only choose one free track. For free track, it means you can like arrange your electives freely. So priorly, I remember there is one prospective student or attendee asked about the marketing and consulting specialization because fortunately I took both, so I can answer for her with more details and comparing with free track. So for free track, it is the time you really call it electives because you can arrange your courses to from 4 to 5 different courses and choose from different orientations. I have a friend who took consulting, marketing, and finance, 3 different directions in one semester in free track. But for consulting and marketing, specializations at ESCP usually have already assigned courses for you. So these are your mandatories. For each specialization, you have at least 4 to 5 mandatories to take. And for master 1 year, you can choose 1 to 2 electives at the same time in the semester. For master 2, you need to calculate your ECTS, which is your credits you have earned for your program, and then consider whether you're taking 1 or 2, or if you're like almost done, you don't have to take any electives. I don't know if the situation is the same for Ari.
No, it's the same. Yeah, I agree with you. It's the same.
Good. So that hasn't changed. Thank you so much. I didn't know that, so I learned something this session. Okay, great. Well, if we don't have any, oh, we have another question. Sarah wants to know if you have any last recommendation for the admission. If you didn't get a good GMAT score the first time around, then take it again. That's one tip I can give you. Although the GMAT is only 10%, I say GMAT, but any of the tests, it's only 10% of your total grade of your application. So don't overthink that. If it's not a great score, it doesn't matter as long as the rest of your application is good. As Hanru mentioned, we look at applications from a holistic point of view. So we're looking at your grades, where you previously studied, what you previously studied. We're looking at your essays. We're looking at your extracurriculars, your previous experience, your international experience, if you have any. That's very valuable to us as well, which I think would, for obvious reasons. If you speak additional languages, that's also very valuable to us. The English test, of course, is important. That's actually has more value than the GMAT or the standardized test score. And then the interview is actually super important. That's 30% of your if you're shortlisted, the interview is 30% of your total grade. So if you're shortlisted, definitely get back in touch with Ari or Hanru or any of the student ambassadors, and they can, tell you more about what they did and give you more recommendations on what to do for the interview. A lot of the student ambassadors also do mock interviews. They're happy to do that for you as well. So that's definitely important. Those would be my last recommendations for admission. I don't know if you guys have anything else you wanted to add.
Yeah, I think you said most of the most of the important aspects of the application. I mean, yeah, the interview is very important also. It's
Sorry, what did you say?
no, I said no. The interview is very important also, as you said. I think it's weight 30%, so it's important.
Yeah, it's very important.
Just one tip for students like me, if you're applying through Join the School in Different, the SAI, normally our interviewers, they're from all different schools of the Alliance School. So for example, I was taking the interview from an HEC alumnus instead of an ESCP alumnus. So you just prepare yourself, do a little work before, because normally you will receive the invitation of the information of your interviewer. You can find your common points on LinkedIn and find the topics to talk during your interview. This is a way to gain attention. But remember, if your interviewer is an expert in his or her industry, you don't want to like spoil yourself with like excessive knowledge that he already or she already has. That's a tip.
A good tip.
Maybe also to add on what you said, if you position more your cover letter essay on a topic, from what I remember, there might be the people, like the interview panel, more related to what you wrote also. So for instance, if you wrote something like a professional project about marketing, you might have more marketing interviewer or related to marketing from what I remember.
Okay. Okay, the last question, Clara's asking, is the interview in English?
Yes.
Both of you did in English,
in
I
English.
assume? Yeah.
English.
English definitely is always an option. I know on the Paris campus, sometimes we offer the option of taking it in French as well. I'm not sure, to be honest, whether that is an option on all campuses, whether in Turin you can also take it in Italian, Madrid, and Spanish, etc. So I would ask your admissions advisor what the case is. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up at this point because Hanru has to get back to work. She told me it's a really busy time at L'Oréal. Thank you so much. And I has to get off to class, I believe. So thank you both so much for your very, very useful and interesting comments and experiences that you shared with everybody. Really appreciate it. If I may offer, you are contactable on LinkedIn. Can they contact you on LinkedIn?
Sure.
Way, or?
Yes, of course.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And me as well, of course, you can contact. So thanks everybody again very much for participating, and I wish you the best of luck in your application and going forward. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Ari.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Thank you, everybody, for participating.
Bye.
Bye.